I've done it. I finished The Sword of Kaigen, and holy shit. I don't have words. So this was my first high fantasy book, which coming from me is kind of crazy because I love fantasy. But this was my first high fantasy book. I was really scared to read this because it's very long and I knew there was going to be a lot of world building, but you guys, this book was the impact of this book smacked me in the face. Like, I will never be the same again. This story was extremely deep, intense, emotional, intimate, tragic, deep, just a very memorable story. I'll just say that right now. And I think it touches on a lot of aspects that just rip your heart out. Like, I was shedding tears during this. It was a lot, but in the best way. I thought this story was beautifully written, extreme emotional depth. Like, you will feel things in this. I think that the main characters go through so much and you feel like you're right there with them, and it's a very intense emotional story. I would also check your trigger warnings on this one because there were a lot of deeper, darker topics discussed in this. Also, too, there's a lot of political triumphs in this. There's a lot of elemental magic, East Asian culture. I love that aspect. I've never read anything like it. Martial arts, growth, love. Like, this book really has it all. The Sword of Kagan is set in the Empire of Kagan. It's a world based on East Asian culture, and the story primarily follows two point of views, which are Masaki Matsuda and Mamoru Matsuda. I hope I'm saying that correctly. And Mamoru is the son of Masaki. We get to see Masaki and Mamoru's point of views throughout political triumphs that they're experiencing while living in the isolated mountain of Kagan. And we learn about kind of their culture, how the children are trained at a very young age to be sword fighters, and we learn about these powerful bloodlines or houses, the Matsuda house being the most powerful house in Kagan. And they also have water magic, and there's a lot of different aspects going on. There's many other things politically going on throughout the world, and we experience a war and a lot of tragedy in just these two characters growing, evolving, and becoming better people. And it's a very, very deep, intense kind of war story. I think that if you love fantasy and you want to give high fantasy a try, this is an amazing place to start. The only gripe that I have is that the chapters were very long. 30 minutes minimum every single chapter. Like, when I got one that was under 20 minutes, I was like, this is a treat. It was a heavy read. It took a while to get through, but you guys, I highly recommend this. I rated this 4.75 stars. It was a really great story. I'm going to remember it forever.